BLTV.com. We're glad to have your company. Just a little bit of a delay before the game starts. The two teams just momentarily lined up down the first and third baselines for each country's national anthem, and the ABL Stars getting set to take the field momentarily. And we will be underway with baseball. We'll run through the starting lineups for the Dusanbears. Gunwoo Park will lead things off and play center field. It'll be Jaewon Oh who will play second and hit second. The former big leaguer Jimmy Paredes has just signed with Doosan. He'll play left field and hit third. Jaewon Kim plays right field and hits fourth. Ki-ji Yang is the DH hitting fifth. Batting sixth, Jae-il Oh at first base. Si-hyuk Park will catch and hit seventh. Kyungmin Hu is the third baseman. He'll hit eighth. And Ji-yuk Ryu, the shortstop, will hit ninth for the Dusanbears. So it's Park, Oh, Paredes, Kim, Yang, Oh, Park, Hu, and Ryu. Timmy Atherton will be the starting pitcher for the ABL Stars. He's coming off one of his best performances of his career, you'd have to say. 28-year-old who spent plenty of time in the Minnesota Twins organization, the Oakland A's organization as well, looking to get back into professional baseball in the Northern Hemispheric season. He certainly would have impressed any potential suitors a week ago today in that third and final game of the ABL Championship Series, in which he was lights out. 7 innings, allowed just one base hit, struck out 11 in the win. Of course, the Bandits going on to win their third consecutive ABL title. And Tim Atherton is the man that they send to the mound for this ABL Stars crew. We'll have a look at the defense. We'll do the starting lineup in the last of the first inning. The defense left to right of the outfield for the ABL Stars: Alex Howe, Michael Campbell, Wade Dutton. Infield left to right, Logan Wade, Darryl George, Jacob Eunice at second base, and Boss Motorola of the Canberra Cavalry, he is at first. And young Mitch Edwards will be doing the catching. 33 degrees as we get set for baseball here in Blacktown. It's been a muggy week in Sydney. Of course, it is summertime, the main reason why the Dusanbears make this their home away from home in the springtime in the lead up to the KBO season. You think of the parallels, obviously the Winter Olympic Games being held right now in South Korea. And here are the Dusanbears preparing for their baseball season. You're looking at 33, 34 degree temperatures. It's been several years now that the Dusanbears have made Blacktown International Sports Park their spring training home, and why wouldn't you? 3 fields. Great amenities here in Blacktown. Doosan keep coming back time and time again. They'll also make a trip to Japan before the Korean season starts. The Blue Sox obviously very gracious host to Doosan over the years, and they're happy to come back time and time again. Again, this is a club very prolific in the KBO. They've won 5 Korean titles, including the inaugural season of the KBO back in 1982, and they've won 4 since. Like I said, 2015 and 16 before they were upended by the Kia Tigers last year in their bid for a three-peat. So we're about ready for baseball. Gunwoo Park will be the man to lead things off, the right-hander. It's a very good crowd on hand here in Blacktown, as you might expect. Witness the Dusanbears play this exhibition against the ABL Stars. Glad to have you along board, everybody. Tim Atherton will get set to deliver the first pitch of the night, the right-hander. And it is over for a called strike. It'll be Park Oh and Jimmy Paredes, the 3 men due up for the Dusanbears. And the 0-1 shatters his bat. Darryl George has it at short, and it's on the first, 1 out. Gunwoo Park, welcome to the ball game. Second pitch shatters his bat all over the infield. We'll get another look at it here. To deliver the first pitch of the night. With 0-1 pitch. Watch this baby just shatter. It was the pitch prior. The over for initial called strike. Darryl George did a pretty good job at shortstop to not worry about the bat that was flying in on him, but just take care of the baseball. Here's Jaewon Oh now. He takes a called strike from Atherton. Atherton, an interesting story. Obviously, he's been around in baseball for quite some time. He'd still be looking for a job in the Northern Hemispheric summer to continue playing baseball. Like I said, with the performance that he showed the other night, You'd have to think he'll get a job somewhere. There's a high bouncing ball back to the pitcher. Atherton takes care of it, and quickly the first two are retired here at the top of the first inning.
Left fielder, number 44, Jimmy Paredes.
So here's Jimmy Paredes, the former big leaguer, who was just recently signed with the Dusanbears. There's a couple of former big leaguers on this club. Paredes being one of three. Dominican native, 29 years of age, getting set for his first Korean season. He takes off the plate on the fastball from Tim Atherton. Played parts of 6 different seasons in the big leagues, did Jimmy Paredes, with 5 different clubs, most of that time being spent with Houston. And the next from Atherton is swung on and missed. A big cut from Paredes, and the count even a ball and a strike. It was originally signed by the Houston Astros. Made his debut in 2011, his most recent big league season with the Philadelphia Phillies 2 years ago. Still plenty of baseball left in him, I should say, at 29 years of age, as he fouls this one straight back, a ball and 2 strikes. You've got a player with 332 games of Major League service times. A couple of pitchers on this roster for Doosan as well that have logged some big league innings. Doosan team that narrowly missed last year, finishing just 2 games back of the Kia Tigers. Looking to go one better in 2018. The 1-2 from Atherton. This one misses high. And the count even 2 balls, 2 strikes on Paredes. The next from Atherton. This one away off the plate outside. 3-2 with Jaewon Kim awaiting on deck. Paredes did play in that postseason a few years ago when he was with Baltimore, when they ran into Kansas City in the ALCS. Here's a fly ball into center. George is out. Campbell coming in, but it's Alex Howe, the left fielder. He makes the catch. And the inning is over. Good work by Tim Atherton. He retires the side in order of the first. We go to the last of inning number 1. No score in Blacktown.
It has always been our mission to take you to new heights as you explore the world with EVA Air. Each flight is an exquisite performance. Each journey is beyond your expectation. Savor the difference. Let your senses soar. A symphony of perfection. EVA Air.
It looks like you've built up a lot of change in your accounts. Would you like to see the change?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go get it.
I'm here to thank you on behalf of the Serena Men's Shed. The community bank has given us upwards of $80,000 and we keep a lot of men out of hospital. Thank you for your support.
See the change your banking can make. Bendigo Bank. Be the change.
This is Anthony Rizzo with the Chicago Cubs, and you're watching the Australian Baseball League.
Well, we welcome you back to the ballpark as we head to the last of the first inning in Blacktown. The Dusanbears and the ABL Stars playing a spring training exhibition spring as far as the Dusanbears are concerned, obviously, getting geared up for the 2018 KBO season. This collection of ABL Stars having just finished the Australian Baseball League season, many of them potentially looking to go back into the Northern Hemisphere as it turns to winter in Australia, play more baseball. Good to see a few of those individuals that I'm talking about this inning. Darryl George being one of them. He'll hit second in the inning. It'll be D'Antonio, George, and Eunice, the three due up for the ABL Stars. And they will get set to face a former big leaguer in Seth Frankoff. Made his MLB debut last year with the Chicago Cubs. And has spent parts of 8 different seasons in North America. Right-hander delivers the first to D'Antonio, misses low. Was originally drafted by Oakland, this starting pitcher, out of University of North Carolina at Wilmington. Played with 3 different clubs, and like I said, broke through with the Chicago Cubs last year. He's also traveled a bit, played in the Venezuelan League, and now finds himself with the Dusanbears of the KBO. 2-0 to D'Antonio. He takes off the plate inside. 3 balls and no strikes. Anyone who's watched Trent D'Antonio over the years, doesn't matter the opposition, doesn't matter the pitcher. He's been one of the most patient hitters that we've seen in the history of this Australian Baseball League, and that's on display in his first at bat against Frankoff. Here he takes a called strike, and it's now 3-1. The next to Trent. This one high and tight, and Frankoff begins the ball game with a walk. Just asking our home plate umpire where the pitch was. Looked to be high and tight. D'Antonio, who walked 25 times in the regular year in 35 ABL ball games, puts himself aboard to begin things here in the first. Here is Darryl George. He's certainly familiar with baseball being played in Asia. Spending the last 2 seasons with the Oryx Buffaloes and the NPB. He had himself a heck of an ABL season. 327, the finishing average for Darryl George. You'd be surprised if a team didn't come calling for the right-handed swinger. Played a very good shortstop throughout the year as well. To George, down the line, foul. Pretty hard against Frankoff. Just foul over that third base bag, and the count even, a ball and a strike. Really, from all accounts, enjoyed his time in Japan, to Darryl George. Anyone who's ever had the opportunity to meet him, he's such a nice young man. Really is a good ball player. A lot of times when players from English-speaking countries go to foreign leagues, it's not exactly what they thought it would be, but Darryl George really relished his time that he spent in the minor league system with the Oryx Buffaloes. And like I said, it would surprise me if he doesn't have a job come 2018 Northern Hemispheric summer as well. Two balls and a strike of the right-hander. It's a big hack. A fastball from Frankoff, and the count even 2-2. Just from seeing Frankoff these first couple of hitters, he does have a lively fastball. He's not afraid to challenge hitters. 29 years of age, 6'5" frame, 210 pounds. There's certainly plenty of him. Himself a good fastball, and here's a base hit. Line back up the middle for George. Antonio will slam on the brakes at second base. He'll stay put there. The first 2 men have reached here in the last of the first for the ABL Stars. Nothing fancy there. Frankoff threw him a fastball. Darryl George didn't miss it. Hammered it right back from where it came. And this ABL team is in business in the first inning against Frankoff. Here's Jacob Eunice now, the right-hander. And the first, there's an off-speed pitch from the righty. That's in for a called strike. Eunice played 39 games with Sydney in the ABL regular season. 361, without a doubt the best season for him in the ABL. Big swing and a miss here. Count 0-2. He's one of those guys that we've talked about as the season went on. He's still very young, only 24 years of age, but he's been around so long with the Sydney Blue Sox that you really do get the sense that he's much older than that. Anointed one of the leaders in this Blue Sox club. He and Trent Antonio, who's aboard at second base, have really solidified a lineup that has seen a lot of change the last couple of years, but no change at the top with those two. Here's the 1-2 to Eunice. Good off speed pitch, called strike 3, and he knew it. That was a pretty good hook there from Seth Frankoff, and his first strikeout comes at a pivotal time with 2 on, nobody out. So Eunice is retired. Monaroa will stand in. You want to talk about players who had the potential to be popular in an Asian market. Look no further than the guy at the plate, Boss Monaroa. Of course, he spent several seasons in the Boston Red Sox organization. He takes a called strike, trying to check his swing. From 2009 to 2013, the years Monaroa was in the Boston Red Sox system. Big hack for 0-1, no balls and 2 strikes. But has been out of affiliated baseball since then. Again, no affiliated ball for Boss Monaroa since 2013. He's since relocated, moved to Newcastle after spending a few seasons with the Sydney Blue Sox. And then he takes a big swing and a miss when Frankoff's really turned it on after allowing the 2 base runners. Challenges Monaroa with a fastball. He swings and misses, and there's 2 gone. And you can see it in his frame. Long and languid, 6'5", 210 pounds. He's an imposing figure atop the mound. There's really nothing quirky about him mechanically. He's a get-and-pitch kind of a guy. After walking to Antonio and then allowing the base hit to Darryl George, fastball has gotten a bit more life into it and has struck out the last 2 that he's faced. Here's Logan Wade hitting now, the switch hitter batting from the left side against the righty. The ABL Stars try to put an early tally on the board against the Dusanbears. Here's a pitch that misses low and end to Wade. 1 ball, 1 strike. Another fastball. He went back and challenged him. Wade swings and misses. It's 2-1. Is an interesting dynamic with his Doosan club playing live baseball as this one shot down the left field line, but foul. Boy, off the bat, it looked like it had a chance. But instead, it just falls a foot or so foul down that left field line. Wade trying to go the other way, nearly had the first RBI of the ball game. It's a Doosan Bears team, like I said, that has spent many years in Blacktown, lead ups to their season, spring training, as Wade puts this one right side, but that one's foul as well. And we'll do it again, 2 balls and 2 strikes. And of course, this squad of ABL Stars have played in this ballpark many a time. Think about the Blue Sox guys that have played here, some of them 5, 6, 7 seasons. But it's a Doosan team, although the away team on the scoreboard, and obviously in terms of geography, they've spent many, many years on this diamond. It's become their spiritual spring home, Blacktown. The 2-2 is swung on and missed. It gets by the catcher. Park has to throw down, and it's just in time. And the inning is over. Anxious moments for Seoc Park, but he collects himself. Frankoff strikes out the side. K's the last 3 that he faces. We go to the second. No score.
Welcome to Sports Camp Australia, the country's newest and most dynamic sports camp network. Whatever your sport, SCA offers campers a one-of-a-kind sports experience regardless of their age or skill level. With top club and association coaches and first-class sporting facilities, SCA has what athletes need to gain a skilled understanding of their sport. Find a camp near you at sportscampsaustralia.com.au and get into a Sports Camp Australia camp today.
The most fun day out you're ever gonna have. It's Wet n Wild, Sydney's theme park. It's big, it's blockbuster, it's action, fun for kids and much more. Dive-in movies, DJ summer sessions, Showtime FMX, dinosaurs, and the world's most incredible inland sea. Get a season pass and slide all summer, or visit us just for the day. The best deals are at wetandwildsydney.com.au.
This is Judy Gregorius with the New York Yankees, and you're watching the Australian Baseball League.
Well, Timmy Atherton coming back out for his second inning of work after retiring the side in order in the first. Again, he's coming off what has been one of his better starts of his ABL career in the deciding Game 3 of the Australian Baseball League Championship Series. And in all likelihood, you would think, is every time that he goes out to pitch, he's essentially interviewing for a job. I mean, this is a guy who still has a lot of pitching in him. Anyone who watched that ABLCS Game 3 last Sunday night would know that. He's a competitor, Tim Atherton. Outside the lines, you won't meet a nicer guy, but inside the lines, he's a competitor, and he still has that fiery nature about him. I think most importantly, we found out last weekend he could still pitch. Retired the side in order in the first, so he'll face the 4, 5, and 6 men. Jaewon Kim will lead things off, the right fielder. Atherton induced a couple of ground balls and then a pop out to shallow left center last inning. And the first to Kim is in there for a called strike. Kim, Yang, and Oh, the three men due up. Again, middle of the order for Tae-Young Kim's club. Atherton throws off speed, misses, count even, a ball and a strike. Tae-Young Kim in his 5th season with the Dusan Bears. This will be his 5th season managerially. Came to the club in 2014 and has won 2 Korean Series titles, and he's been to another and fell short. Last season, the Kia Tigers got the best of the Dusan Bears in the Korean Series and thwarted any chance of a three-peat. The 2-1, this ball is crushed. Deep right center field. Goodbye. 1-0 Dusan Bears. Well, there wasn't a whole lot of doubt off the bat. It was only a matter of how far it would fly. Atherton left Kim a pitch up, and he did not miss it. Deep to right center field, and the Bears had an early 1-0 lead here in the top of the second inning. Atherton, after retiring the side in order in the first inning, had Gunwoo Park shattering his bat. He mixed up Jimmy Paredes, who flied out softly to center field. But Jaewon Kim, the right fielder, is homered to begin things here in the second inning, and it's 1-0 Dusan. So here's a on the ground. Logan Wade playing third this afternoon. He throws on to Motorola for the first out of the inning. There's some guys who just have a special sound off of the bat. Jaewon Kim, just the way that the ball sounded coming off of his bat was something special. That was a sight to behold from the left-hander. Gives his club an early 1-0 lead. With 1 out, nobody aboard. Here's J.L.O., the first baseman. It's a very left-handed laden lineup for Dusan, particularly in the middle of the order. with Kwon Yang Oh and Park on deck, also a left-hander. We welcome you back to Sydney as we head to the last of the second inning. Wade Dutton leading things off for the ABL Stars, who find themselves in a 2-0 deficit after the solo shot from Jaewon Kim and then the 2-out RBI from Kyungmin Ha. A 2-0 lead. Seth Frankoff's afternoon has come to a close after pitching the first inning. Well, he was impressive. After walking the first man that he faced and giving up the base hit to Darryl George, he really knuckled down. A lively fastball, and we saw that he struck out the side after putting the first two aboard. It'll be Dutton, Michael Campbell, and Mitch Edwards, the 6, 7, and 8 spots for this ABL Stars team. Stranded a pair back in the first inning. Dutton fouls this one off toward the left side. Count will stay, a ball and 2 strikes. Min-Ik Jang is the new pitcher for the Dusan Bears and Taeyoung Kim's club. You'll likely see that he'll roll out plenty of bullpen arms this afternoon, you'd have to think. Probably giving several different pitchers an inning of work. Dutton bounces this one to short. Handled pretty well by Ryu, and he throws on to first. That's a good play from the shortstop. 1 out. Talk about being stuck between a rock and a hard place as a shortstop. That's what happened with Ryu here. He quickly had to decide whether or not he would charge or back up on the baseball, but he trusted his arm enough, took 2 steps back, fielded the ball, and strong throw to first, got Wade Dutton by a half a step, and now Michael Campbell will stand in. Campbell was implanted as the everyday center fielder for the Blue Sox in 2018. The first to him missing off the plate outside, 1 ball, no strike. A phenomenal rookie season last year, did he? As a 31-year-old rookie, Michael Campbell. His sophomore season was a good one as well. Sort of tapered off toward the end of the year. But played 23 games, hit .237 during the regular year, did Campbell. And the 1 ball, 1 strike pitch from the lefty is fouled away off toward the left side. A ball and 2 strikes. It's a Sydney team that has undergone plenty of changes the last couple of years. Of course, Tony Harris in his first year as manager for the Sydney Blue Sox. A team that was still in contention for a playoff berth going into the final round of the season. They headed down to Adelaide and West Beach. The bite got the better of them. 1-2 to Campbell. Called strike 3. Hanks the outer edge, and there's quickly 2 outs here in the second inning. Certainly the face of the Australian Baseball League will change in 2018-19. One of the most interesting off seasons of the Australian Baseball League commenced after the Bandits won their 3rd consecutive title last Sunday night. Expansion on the horizon, as we've heard from CEO Cam Vale prior to the start of the ABL season. Where exactly those teams will be is yet to be announced, but certainly we'll know more in the coming weeks and months. This Australian Baseball League offseason likely to be just 8 teams next year. Through 8 seasons in the 6-team model, going to take baseball to more places. Regional Australia has been talked about as one of the main identified areas to inject baseball into. A lovely facility in Geelong. The Women's National Championships will be played later in the years. This one swung on and missed, and the inning is over. The side retired in order in the second. Dusan doing everything right as we go to the third.
Ladies and gentlemen, Blue Sox Stadium, down.
Josh Reddick of the Houston Astros, and you're watching the Australian Baseball League.
Top of the third inning is we welcome you back on ABLTV.com, powered by Bing Lead with special ABLTV.com presentation. The Dusanbears, as part of their spring training preparations for the 2018 KBO season, playing the ABL Stars, a 2-0 ball game. Doosan scoring both of their runs in the top of inning number 2. And they lead at 2-0 as we go to the third inning. Tim Atherton was dazzling in the first, retiring the side in order. Gave up a solo shot, 2-out base hit as well that scored the second run of the contest. It'll likely be a revolving door of pitchers for Tae-Young Kim, the fifth-year manager of the Doosan Bears. We've seen 2 innings and 2 pitchers to this point. Seth Frankoff striking out the side in the first inning. And Timmy Atherton will face the top of the order once more. He retired them in order in the first. Gungwoo Park grounded out the shortstop to begin the ball game, and here he bounces to George again. Darrell has it. He throws on to first. It's a pair of groundouts to the left side for Gungwoo Park. He's 0 for 2.
Now batting second baseman, number 24, Jae-Won
So here's Jae-Won, the second baseman. Bounced back to the pitcher and was retired in the first inning. Jimmy Paredes, the former big leaguers, the man who awaits on deck for Doosan. The 1-0 fastball that's off the outer edge, swung on and missed, strike one. We're talking about how the model of being able to utilize Australian facilities for spring training for a Korean team, Japanese team, potentially a Taiwanese club, makes Australian baseball attractive. Teams and management from all throughout Asia. We were seeing that with Doosan. It's been happening for several years where they've been here in Blacktown utilizing this facility for spring training. Like I said last inning, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw more and more of that in the coming years, especially with the Australian Baseball League's desire to get into Asia as expansion is on the horizon. Yes, it does mean more domestic clubs, but it will certainly, you'd have to think, mean more interest from overseas as well. The 0-2. This one tapped foul off toward the left side. It'll stay no balls and 2 strikes. Another 0-2 and another foul ball. Boy, these lefties have been awfully pesky against Tim Atherton this afternoon. Saw it in that second inning. Several hitters in the middle of the order just continued to foul tough pitches away off of Tim Atherton. With one out here in the third, Jae-Won doing the exact same thing. There's another 0-2, and this one's hit off of his foot. It looks to be okay, but that one got him, it looked like, on the front foot. Oh. I get another look at it here. And it did too, just on the shoe tops. And a lot of different padding that you can wear in a lot of different places as a hitter in this crazy game of baseball, but on top of the shoe is one of those few places that's sort of always left exposed. Atherton locked in a battle with the left-hander. He'll throw the 6th pitch of the at-bat here. And he swings and misses. Good fastball from Atherton. He gets the strikeout. His second of the night, and there's 2 gone for Jimmy Paredes.
Now batting left fielder, number 44, Jimmy Paredes.
Mentioned a couple of innings ago, Paredes has spent parts of 6 different seasons in the big league. This will be his first year with The Dusanbears of the KBO. That Frankoff, who we saw start the ball game atop the mound, as well as Josh Lindblom, who former big league pitcher as well. Those are the 3 former MLB players that Doosan will have on their side in 2018 as Paredes takes the first offering from Atherton off the plate outside. And it's a team that just came up short last year in the Korean Series as they were looking for their 3rd consecutive title after winning in 2015 and 16. Paredes skies it high in the air, right side. Monoroa giving it a look. It foul and out of play, and the count will even at a ball and 2 strikes. Doosan actually won Game 1 of the Korean Series last year. So they played the Kia Tigers, the best of 7 series. They won Game 1, but then lost the ensuing 4 games to 1, the final series score of the Korean Series in 2017. As Paredes swings and misses at the 1-1, the count, a ball and 2 strikes. Quite regularly, the highest attended KBO club, the Dusanbears, certainly one of the most popular. As you might expect, being based in Seoul, where the population is so high, there's plenty of interest in the Dusanbears. As this fastball misses high, count even 2 balls and 2 strikes. Paredes popped out on a 2-2 pitch in the first. Here's the 2-2, and it's hammered right back at Atherton and into center field for a 2-out base hit. That ball was crushed off the bat of Jimmy Paredes. It's his first base hit, and the inning will extend to Jaewon Kim. Tim Atherton had hardly any time to react. He had turned his back. Paredes hammered it right back up the middle. Luckily for Atherton, he was able to get out of the way quickly. That's 2 pretty hard hit balls that we've seen off the bat of Paredes. And now Jaewon Kim, who homered leading off the 2nd inning, will hit with 2 outs. He takes a fastball from Atherton over for a called strike. A team that hit the ball very well and also pitched well last year. They were 2nd in the league in each of those 2 categories. That's rare to see in a professional league. This one was shot foul down that left field line, and it'll put a no balls and 2 strikes. The 2nd highest average of any of the KBO teams, and the 2nd best ERA in the league as well. Again, like I said a couple of innings ago, finished 2 games back of the Kia Tigers in the regular season. They're unable to get over the hump in the Korean Series. 0-2, misses high, 1 ball, 2 strikes. The 1-2 is shot foul down that right side. And it'll stay a ball and 2 strikes. It's a funny old playoff system that they have in the KBO as well. 5 teams make the playoffs. There's a wild card play-in with the 4th and 5th seeds. Play a single game. Missing inside, count 2 balls and 2 strikes. But then the winner of that goes on to play the 3 seed. The winner of that plays the 2 seed, and then the winner of that plays the 1 seed. It's sort of a crazy playoff format that they have in the KBO, which means if you're the minor premier, you've got quite a bit of time off before you play in the Korean Series. Didn't hurt the Kia Tigers last year. So swing and a miss. Kim homered off Atherton last inning. Here he gets the strikeout. And the inning is over. 2 Ks for Tim Atherton. He struck out 3 through 3. We go to the last of the 3rd. Doosan leading it 2-0.
always been our mission to take you to new heights. As you explore the world with EVA Air. Each flight is an exquisite performance. Each journey is beyond your expectation. Savor the difference. Let your senses soar. A symphony of perfection. EVA Air.
It looks like you've built up a lot of change in your accounts. Would you like to see the change?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go get it.
I'm here to thank you on behalf of the Serena Men's Shed. The community bank has given us upwards of $80,000 and we keep a lot of men out of hospital. Thank you for your support.
See the change your banking can make. Indigo Bank. Be the change.
This is Anthony Rizzo with the Chicago Cubs, and you're watching the Australian Baseball League.
Well, we hit the last of the third inning in Sydney at Blacktown International Sports Park. Love to have your company this evening on ABLTV.com for this special presentation. The ABL Stars and the Dusanbears playing in a spring training exhibition. Lone 2 runs of the contest came in the top of the second inning for Doosan. A solo shot from Jaewon Kim, a double from J-Il-O. He was driven in by Ha with a 2-out ball put in play. It was an error committed by Darryl George at shortstop. It was always going to be a tough play for George. One way or another, the second run of the ball game came home to score. And that is where we currently stand. 2-0. 9-1-2 due up for the ABL Stars. Alex Howe, the man leading things off here in the third. And he hits a base hit into right through the hole between first and second. And the leadoff man is aboard for the second time in the contest for the ABL Stars. We'll turn the lineup back over now to Trent D'Antonio, who led things off with a walk back in the first inning. That's before Seth Frankoff struck out the side. There you get another look at the base hit from Alex Howe. The second hit of the night for the ABL Stars. Darryl George had the other in the first inning. The first to D'Antonio off speed. That's in for a called strike. Jim was touching on the playoff format in the KBO last inning. It's an interesting one. I don't know one that I've seen in any other professional league, but it certainly rewards those who finish higher in the standings. 0-1 to D'Antonio in for a called strike, 0-2. Again, a 10-team league. Half the teams make the playoffs. The top 5 are then sort of play in reverse order. 4 plays 5 in a 1-game wild card playoff. And then you essentially progress through the grades. And the final boss, if you will, is the minor premiers. A swing and a miss from D'Antonio. He's down on strikes. And there's one gone here in the last of the third.
Now batting the shortstop, number 41.
So just to give you an idea, last year the NC Dinos, the SK Wyverns, finished 4-5. They played each other in a wild card playoff game. The NC Dinos won that game 10-5. And so the Dinos went on to play the Latte Giants in what is called the semi-playoff in a best-of-5 series. And the NC Dinos bettered the Latte Giants 3-2 in that semi-playoff. So then the 4 seed, NC Dinos, progressed to play Doosan in a best-of-5 as well. Dusanbears won that series 3-1, and then Doosan played the Kia Tigers in the Korean series. Darryl George misses high and inside. Count even a ball to strike. George singled back in the first inning. And the 1-1 to George is hit foul off toward the right side. Ball and 2 strikes. And the other thing I guess that imposes is the season was over at the beginning of October. The regular season ends in early October in the KBO, just as it does in North America. The first wild card playoff game was on October 5th. The Korean series did not start until the 25th of October. It's a crazy layoff time for the minor premiers, who last year were the Kia Tigers, but again, a team that finishes at the top of the table in a long season is rewarded for it. The Dusanbears, by virtue of finishing second in the standings last year, had to play in that playoff against the NC Dinos to get to the Korean series. 2-2, hard hit off the bat of George into center, his second base hit of the afternoon. Well, you don't think he's campaigning for another job? Darryl George, again, he's spent the last 2 years in Japan with the Oryx Buffaloes. He's hit the ball hard a pair of times this afternoon. This one right back up the middle, and there's 2 on with 1 out here in the third. If Jacob Eunice can come through for the ABL Stars, he was one of 3 strikeout victims of Seth Frankoff back in the first inning. Speed pitch on the initial offering, missing high and away. It's the second inning of work for Min-Eek Zhang. Again, he came in to replace Seth Frankoff, the 29-year-old right-hander. We saw start the ball game, one of 3 former big leaguers that this Dusanbears club is signed for 2018. Josh Lindblom and Jimmy Paredes, the other 2. This ball's hit back up the middle, dying quickly, and that falls for a base hit. Hal being waved home. The throw is cut off. It's an RBI single for Jacob Eunice, and the ABL Stars are on the board. Boy, not nearly as hard hit as Darryl George's base hit, but it was perfectly placed off the bat of Eunice. He drives in a run, and the ABL Stars are within 1. Only 1 out here in the third inning. Another look at it here. He may have broken his bat. Didn't really get extended on it, but it died quickly and fell in front of Park and center. Good base running by Darryl George to take the extra bag as well. It's men at the corners with 1 out. Boss Monroe with a chance to tie things up. A fly ball would do it. George obviously runs very well over at third base. After surrendering 2 runs in the second inning, the ABL Stars on the cusp of tying things up here in the third. Monroe takes the first for a called strike. Finished up his second season, the Canberra Cavalry, Boss Motorola. His 3rd season, I should say, after spending early years of his career here in Sydney. Here's a fly ball into right center. This should do the job. Park makes the catch, but it's way too deep. Darryl George comes home to score. We've got a 2-2 ball game. Well, he just missed the pitch, Monoroa, but he did his job. He scores George from third. After Doosan picked up a pair in the second inning, ABL Stars have done the same here in inning number 3. It's 2-2. That it looks like we might get a pitching change as Tae-Young Kim, the manager for the Bears, will come out. We will have a pitching change. So we'll step aside. Whole new ball game. 2-2 with 2 outs here in the last of the third.
Welcome to Sports Camp Australia, the country's newest and most dynamic sports camp network. Whatever your sport, SCA offers campers a one-of-a-kind sports experience regardless of their age or skill level. With top club and association coaches and first-class sporting facilities, SCA has what athletes need to gain a skilled understanding of their sport. Find a camp near you at sportscampsaustralia.com.au and get into a Sports Camp Australia camp today.
The most fun day out you're ever gonna have. It's Wet n Wild, Sydney's theme park. It's big, it's blockbuster, it's action, fun for kids and much more. dive-in movies, DJ summer sessions, Showtime FMX, dinosaurs, and the world's most incredible inland sea. Get a season pass and slide all summer, or visit us just for the day. The best deals are at wetandwildsydney.com.au.
This is Judy Gregorius with the New York Yankees, and you're watching the
That's 2 outs and a man aboard. 2 have already scored in the third inning for the ABL Stars, and Chi-Gook Park will be the third arm of the afternoon for the Doosan Bears. The right-hander taking over for Min-Ik Zhang, who gave up the 2 runs here in the third. The ABL Stars have knotted things at 2 apiece as we play in the last of the third inning. And glad to have your company. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight on ABLTV.com. As part of this special presentation, a spring training exhibition between a cast of ABL Stars. 5-time KBO champions, the Doosan Bears. It's been a fun ball game to this point. Logan Wade struck out back in the first inning. ABL Stars left 2 stranded in the first. They have made the most of a couple of base runners here in the third inning to tie things up. The next to Wade is on the outer edge for a called strike, and the count even 1-1. Bit of a funky delivery, doesn't he, Chi-Gook Park? Certainly not big in stature at all, standing at just 5'9", but very crafty, very compact delivery. This one's on the ground toward third, and that's a foul ball. Kyungmin Hug gave it a look, but certainly knew that that would bounce foul, let it go. It's a ball and 2 strikes on Logan Wade. Wade hit .282 during the regular year. He's playing a bit out of position here this evening with Darryl George at shortstop. Wade used to patrolling shortstop there at Holloway Field in Brisbane, but he's playing in third base this evening. Get 2 shortstops the caliber of Wade and George. The left side here infield's going to be okay. Problem is, both those guys are such great shortstops, it would have been tough to decide who was going to move to third as Wade swings and misses. And the inning comes to a close, but a pair of runs come across the plate. We go to the 4th inning tied at 2 apiece.
Wall Street. Meet sport. Every team has a price on SportNext, the 24/7 sports trading competition where fans can invest in sport on a whole new level. Make the right moves, and you could conquer sport. Buy, sell, win. SportNext. Conquer sports.
Boral has built up a long-standing reputation of excellence and exceptional performance. With successful completion of thousands of high-value projects across multiple sectors, our clients can have full confidence in Boral's ability to provide supply chain security, local expertise, commitment to safety, and most of all, certainty of outcome for your project. The earlier we get involved, the more value we can add. Contact us or visit our website at boral.com.au.
This is Chris Bryant from the Chicago Cubs, and you're watching the Australian Baseball League.
Top of the 4th inning in Blacktown, a 2-2 tie. The Doosan Bears and the ABL Stars doing battle in an ABLTV.com special presentation. And Tim Atherton's afternoon has come to a close after throwing 3 innings. And Tony Harris, who's managing this ABL Stars club, will go to Josh Tolles, the lefty. It was announced last week had signed for another stint in North America with the Philadelphia Phillies organization. He will be off to spring training in just a few days' time, but was able to stay on for this spring training exhibition against the Doosan Bears. It's been a really strange road that Josh Tolles has taken throughout his baseball career. Of course, growing up in Australia, started in Adelaide with the Adelaide Bite at the age of 20. and was sort of a regular in the Pecos League in independent baseball, as this one is swung out and missed. Koji Yang is the man leading things off. It'll be Yang, O, and Park, part of the middle of the order that did the damage against Tim Atherton back in the first inning. The ABL Stars have been able to draw level, and it's tied at 2 apiece here in the fourth. So the next from Tolles, missing Low, 2 balls and a strike. He's played in the American Association as well. Now will get his chance to play affiliated baseball at the age of 27, Josh Tolles, if you can believe that. He has not been with a big league organization at any point in his career, but with the way that he's pitched the last couple of years, it's understandable why someone would take a chance on a guy like Tolles. If you're left-handed and you can pitch, there's a lot of doors that can potentially open for you. You've got to look no further than the road that Josh Tolles has taken to get to affiliated baseball. Here's a bouncing ball to short. George is there. He'll throw across. And Yang is retired. 1 gone here in the fourth. And there'd be many baseball stories like it. Played with Trinidad in the Pecos League in 2014. Before moving on to the American Association, playing with the T-Bones in Kansas City in both 2015 and 2016. Now at the age of 27, after playing 8 years of professional baseball at various levels, will get a chance with his first big league organization. You'd have to think that they'll likely send him to Double-A, Reading, Pennsylvania. Potentially could be the spot for Josh Tolles, but really interested to see how well he goes in the North American season. Like I said, he'll be on a plane to North America in a matter of days. 2-0 on the ground right side, and it's past a diving Jacob Eunice. And into right field for a 1-out base hit. Second hit of the afternoon for Jay Hillo. He had that double and came home to score back in the second inning, and he's aboard for the second time tonight. Ball was hit hard. Eunice certainly gave it a good effort over at second base. Came up just short. And there's 1 on with 1 out for Si-Hyuk Park, the catcher who grounded out. He's 0 for 1. Well, the record for Josh Tolles doesn't necessarily tell the story. He was 5-3 as a starter in 2018 in the ABL. He's had various different roles as well. It'll be interesting to see how he's utilized in a big league organization. He's obviously closed at times with Adelaide. He was a closer for them at the back end of their bullpen several years ago. Probably most notably known for coming in and poaching wins. He set the ABL wins record as a reliever a couple of years ago. So missing off the plate outside. 2 balls and a strike. That was 2014-15. He won 9 games and didn't start a single one of them. 9 wins, 2 losses, a 2.38 ERA that year. 22 games out of the bullpen. The next missing Low. 3 balls and a strike with Kyungmin Ha waiting on deck. You're happy when a guy like Josh Tolles has success, and when the Phillies came calling, he couldn't help himself. He'll be in his first big league organization at the age of 27. The 3-1 instead a check on the runner over at first. One shot fouled on that right field line. The payoff pitch coming to Park. Instead, Tolles will check on the runner at first. Payoff coming to the lefty, and it's hammered into right center. Dutton over to get it. He makes the catch. And there's 2 gone here in the 4th. Dutton had him played pretty well. Ball was hit hard off the bat, but only a couple of steps to his right. Wade Dutton makes the catch, and there's 2 gone.
Third baseman, number 13, Kyung-Min Ha.
Kyung-Min Ha will stand in. He put that ball in play to the shortstop Darryl George a couple of innings ago that scored a run with 2 outs. Get a look at the replay on the hard hit ball off the bat of Park. This one's hit back up the middle. Tolles can't glove it. George over to get it. Turns and he can't make the throw. O will advance down to third base. He'll stay put there. It'll be men at the corners, but Darryl George nearly made a spectacular play. Twirling and spinning and eventually throwing from where the second baseman usually stands. It was nearly one of the best plays you will ever see by a shortstop moving to his left. Look at where he is when he throws the baseball. Did a deep second base by the time he gets the ball out, and he nearly retired Kyung-Min Ha for the final out of the inning. Instead, Tolles will have to bear down with runners at first and third, 2 outs. And Ji-Yuk Ryu, the shortstop. The lefty, the man at the plate. First from Tolles, who's low for a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. Ryu struck out back in the second inning. He's 0 for 1 tonight. The 2-0 to Ryu. Jammed him a bit. Popped up in his shallow right. Eunice is there, and the inning is over. So good work by Josh Tolles. Pitches his way out of a jam in the 4th. We go to the last of inning number 4, tied at 2.
This is Josh Reddick of the Houston Astros, and you're watching the Australian Baseball League.
So we welcome you back to our ABLTV.com special presentation of the ABL Stars taking on the Dusanbears in a spring training exhibition. Dusan will be headed back to Seoul in just a matter of weeks to start their 2018 campaign in an attempt to win their 3rd KBO title in 4 seasons. After coming up a few games short in the Korean Series last year against the Kia Tigers. And they've added some more firepower, as we've talked about throughout the broadcast. Jimmy Paredes being one of those, the former big leaguer. Josh Lindblom, a former big league pitcher as well, and they will add to their rotation. And Seth Frankoff, who spent some time with the Chicago Cubs last year, started this ball game. And struck out the side in the first inning, so certainly a team that's getting stronger after losing in the Korean Series last year. And we'll certainly try to get back in 2018. It's Wade Dutton leading things off for the ABL Stars. Fouls one back right behind home plate. Count even, a ball and a strike. It'll be Dutton, Campbell, and Mitch Edwards, 6, 7, and 8 in the order for his ABL Stars club. It's being managed by Tony Harris, the first-year manager of the Sydney Blue Sox this year. Dutton tried to check his swing. He was able to do so. Counts even at 2-2. And a very good crowd on hand tonight. Blue Sox have done a phenomenal job of promoting this event. As Dutton hits this one hard up the middle. Good diving attempt by Ryu. And it sneaks past his glove. It's a leadoff single for Wade Dutton, and the third time tonight in 4 innings that the ABL Stars have put the leadoff man aboard. They were able to knot things up at 2 apiece last inning, and Dutton getting a leadoff single here in the 4th. They'll try to take the lead for the first time tonight. The left-handed swinging center fielder Michael Campbell will stand in. He's 0 for 1, struck out back in the 2nd inning. Campbell takes the first for a ball. Mentioned a couple of innings ago, it's a Doosan team that is regularly at the top of the list in terms of attendance in the KBO. Would likely expect that, being the team located in Seoul, South Korea. This one taken off the plate high and away. 2 balls, no strikes on Eunice. But last year drew a total of 1.1 million fans, an average of just over 15,000 a game for Doosan. Eunice gets tied up here, 2 balls and a strike. The LG Twins were the only club last year to outdraw the Doosan Bears. Surprising when you look at the season that the Twins had last year. Not a playoff season, 69 and 72, their final record. Ended up 17 games back of the minor premiers and Kia Tigers. That one was shot foul down that third baseline. Everybody in that Blue Sox dugout was scattering on that ball off the bat of Jacob Eunice. But it's not surprising when you look at the attendance numbers and see that the Twins and the Bears are tops amongst the KBO. Of course, they share a stadium in Seoul. Makes just about 2.3, 2.4 million total that watched games inside that building last year. Here's a ball shot foul down the left field line. We'll do it again at 2 balls and 2 strikes. I saw an interesting statistic last week, just after the ABLCS, of course, after the CPBL commissioner was in town for the championship series in Brisbane last weekend. There was a few statistics floating around, and just the number of fans that attend Asian baseball games throughout the Northern Hemispheric season. It's staggering. Here's a floating ball out behind second base. And Campbell, who put together a pretty good at bat, is retired for the first out here in the 4th.
Number 51, Mitchell Edwards.
So get another look at it here. He got jammed at Campbell. Just floated it out towards center field and on the edge of the outfield grass. Ji-Hook Ryu made the catch, and there's 1 gone, 1 out. Mitch Edwards will stand in. He struck out back in the 2nd inning. He's 0 for 1 tonight. Nice off speed pitch from Ji-Hook Park. He's ahead in the count, no balls and a strike. It was essentially a chart comparing attendance figures across all Asian baseball leagues and sort of how that correlates to all of the major sporting codes in Australia. 0-1 on the ground. This could be 2. They'll go to second for 1. The turn by Park is in time, and the inning is over. Ryu to 0. 4-6-3. We go to the 5th inning, tied at 2.
It has always been our mission to take you to new heights as you explore the world with EVA Air. Each flight is an exquisite performance. Each journey is beyond your expectation. Savor the difference. Let your senses soar. A symphony of perfection. EVA Air.
It looks like you've built up a lot of change in your accounts. Would you like to see the change?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go get it.
I'm here to thank you on behalf of the Serena Men's Shed. The community bank has given us upwards of $80,000 and we keep a lot of men out of hospital. Thank you for your support.
See the change your banking can make. Bendigo Bank. Be the change.
This is Anthony Rizzo with the Chicago Cubs, and you're watching the Australian Baseball League.
To the top of the fifth inning, we go in Blacktown here on ABLTV.com. The ABL Stars and the Dusanbears tied at 2 apiece in this spring training exhibition contest. Josh Tolles, who had to work his way out of trouble in the 4th inning, will come back out for another inning of work. And you see 2 runs apiece, 5 hits apiece. A couple of errors committed by Darryl George, albeit one of them was a play that you wouldn't see many shortstops even attempt to make. That twirling play out beyond second base. The shortstop ended up making the throw where the second baseman usually sets up. And had he completed the throw, it would have been one of the more spectacular plays you'll ever see a shortstop make. And Tolles coming back out for another inning of work will face the top of the order. Gunwoo Park hitting for the 3rd time. He's grounded out the shortstop both times that he's come to the plate tonight. He's 0 for 2. Good off speed pitch here from Tolles. He's quickly ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. Wish to put a bow on the point that I was making last inning. Again, there was a chart that was floating around that just compared Asian baseball attendance to major sporting codes within Australia. And the difference in amounts would be staggering, I think, to someone who doesn't necessarily know the scope of baseball in Japan, Korea, Taiwan.
Now second baseman, number 53.
And if I tried to remember the exact figures, I would get it wrong, so I'll save you the details, but it was staggering. The attendance figures that these Asian clubs rack up throughout a baseball season, and it certainly shows why baseball can be attractive for partnerships here within Australia. Tourism as well. There are many factors that would play into it. There's a bouncing ball to third. It gets by Wade. And into left field, Alex Howes over to cut it off. Park's on his way into second with a leadoff double here in the top of the 5th inning. It's a pretty good piece of hitting. Shot the other way. It was going to be a tough play for Logan Wade, who's playing a bit out of position over at third base.
Now batting right fielder, number 44, Jimmy.
Nearly made a spectacular play. Couldn't get a glove on it. It trickles into left. And Parks aboard for the first time tonight. For the leadoff double here in the 5th. And now Jaewon Choi will come to the plate. He's grounded out and struck out. Takes off the plate low. Jaewon Oh, I should say, the left-hander. String of many lefties in this lineup. Actually, Jimmy Paredes, the man at the plate. I beg your pardon. Paredes has been aboard once tonight. Oh, aboard at second. Paredes 1 for 2 on the evening, looking to put Doosan back on top. And Tolles challenged him with a fastball high and tight. Paredes took a big cut, swings and misses. And it counts 2 balls and a strike. And Jimmy Paredes has played 6 seasons with 5 different MLB clubs. Has also spent some time in Japan as Jimmy Paredes. He takes a big swing and a miss here. Counts even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. He's taken a couple of big hacks at fastballs around the eyes from Josh Tolles. The lefty to this point's gotten away with it. See what Tolles is throwing here on 2 balls, 2 strikes. Next to Paredes, and it's on the ground. A bouncing ball to third. Wade has to hurry. On to first in time, and there's 2 outs. So Paredes retired for the 2nd time tonight, and now Jaquan Kim will stand in to get another look at it. There's been some high bouncing balls that this ABL Stars infield has had to deal with in this ball game. We've seen a couple over to Darryl George. 2 now that Logan Wade has had to navigate over there at third base. Tolles pitched around trouble in the 4th. He's trying to do so again. And strand J1-0 at second base after the 1-out double. Left a couple of men aboard in the 4th inning. All told tonight, the Doosan Bears have left 4 through 4. Next from Tolles, missing high and away. 2 balls, no strikes. Well, Kim hit that loud homer that got the scoring started in the 2nd inning. He's also struck out tonight, 1 for 2. A lefty with pop. 2-0. Trying to put his team back on top with that swing. And it counts 2 balls and a strike. Good off-speed pitch from Tolles to even the count 2-2. Kim's been with the Doosan Bears since 2008. He's been an all-star as well in the KBO. And here's a called strike 3, 2nd time that Kim's been called out on strikes. And the inning comes to a close. Tolles works around trouble again. The Bears have left 5. We go to the last of the 5th,
9-2. Welcome to Sports Camp Australia, the country's newest and most dynamic sports camp network. Whatever your sport, SCA offers campers a one-of-a-kind sports experience regardless of their age or skill level. With top club and association coaches and first-class sporting facilities, SCA has what athletes need to gain a skilled understanding of their sport. Find a camp near you at sportscampsaustralia.com.au and get into a Sports Camp Australia camp today.
The most fun day out you're ever gonna have. It's Wet n Wild, Sydney's theme park. It's big, it's blockbuster, it's action, fun for kids and much more. Dive-in movies, DJ summer sessions, Showtime FMX, dinosaurs, and the world's most incredible inland sea. Get a season pass and slide all summer, or visit us just for the day. The best deals are at wetandwildsydney.com.au.
This is Judy Gregorius with the New York Yankees, and you're watching the Australian Baseball League.
2-2 ties. We head to the Blacktown. East ball. The Doosan Bears finally getting to put the jib. A ball and 2 strikes on D'Antonio. Nobody out. Alex Howe beginning the inning with a leadoff single here in the 5th inning as the ABL Stars try and break the deadlock. A good off-speed pitch by Chiguk Park. D'Antonio's out on strikes for the 2nd time tonight. So 1 gone in the frame. A man at first. See the lights starting to take full effect here at the ballpark in Blacktown. Darryl George will stand in. George has been aboard once tonight. Make it twice. He's singled both times that he's come to the plate. He's also come around to score one of the 2 tallies for the ABL Stars. Former Tampa Bay Rays prospect, spent the last couple of years in the minor league system of the Oryx Buffaloes in Japan. Again, there's certainly still a lot of baseball left in Darryl George. We saw him play a really good shortstop this year for Melbourne. Ended up hitting just south of 330. Hit a 2-out home run in the top of the 9th inning of the ABL semifinal to tie that ball game before David Sutherland hit a walk-off homer to send the Bandits into the ABL CS. Really turned into the heart and soul of that Melbourne club is Darryl George. And you'd have to think that he'd find a spot somewhere on a club in the Northern Hemispheric summer. Here's a fly ball foul off toward the right. Stay no balls and 2 strikes on George. Well, Joe Glendenning, the assistant GM of the Sydney Blue Sox, came up and gave me a gift a couple of innings ago. Official KBO baseball, Skyline, the ball manufacturer for the KBO. And it's the balls that they're playing with tonight, not the Brett Brothers Australian Baseball League balls, but the official KBO baseballs, as this one's fouled off toward the right. We'll do it again at 0-2. But it's unlike a ball that I think we've seen here in Australia. It's not like the Rawlings baseballs that they used to use in the ABL with the lowered seams. It certainly differs from the Brett baseballs as well, but reminds me almost of a college baseball that you might see in North America and NCAA with raised seams, which a lot of times will get you more spin on the ball if you're a pitcher. Wound a bit tighter. This one swung on and missed. George strikes out, and there's 2 gone here in the 5th. But it is interesting comparing baseballs from around the world, and Joe came up and just set this on the table here at our broadcast position. And as soon as I picked it up, you can tell differences if you put balls from various leagues and in your hand at the same time. You can feel the subtle differences, and the first thing that comes to mind when you look at a KBO baseballs, it will remind you of an NCAA baseball in North America. Like I said, with those raised seams, it's done that way in collegiate baseball to allow pitchers to get more grip. Curveballs off speed pitches certainly have more movement. And those are the balls that they're playing with tonight. The Skyline official KBO baseball. Here's a fly ball deep into right field. It's sending Kim back. And he makes the catch at the edge of the track. And the inning is over. Well, ABL Stars get a man aboard to lead things off, but he's left stranded at first. We go to the 6th inning, tied at 2.
Wall Street. Meet sport. Every team has a price on SportNext, the 24/7 sports trading competition where fans can invest in sport on a whole new level. Make the right moves, and you could conquer sport. Buy, sell, win. SportNext. Conquer sports.
Boral has built up a long-standing reputation of excellence and exceptional performance. With successful completion of thousands of high-value projects across multiple sectors, our clients can have full confidence in Boral's ability to provide supply chain security, local expertise, commitment to safety, and most of all, certainty of outcome for your project. The earlier we get involved, the more value we can add. Contact us or visit our website at boral.com.au.
This is Chris Bryant from the Chicago Cubs, and you're watching the Australian Baseball League.
Well, the night has come to a close for Josh Tolles, who put himself in a couple of jams in his 2 innings of work, but was able to pitch around in his 3 innings of work prior to that for Tim Atherton. And we will see our 3rd arm of the night for the ABL Stars in Luke Wilkins, the right-hander. Sydney native. Will come on to face the 5, 6, and 7 hitters in the order. Koiji Yang, the DH, will be the first man to oppose Luke Wilkins.
From the 6th inning, leading off for the Dusanbeers.
Had himself a bit of a turbulent 2017 ABL season. He's got a lot of time for this right-hander, Luke Wilkins, who can eat innings and throw plenty of pitches. Here's a fly ball deep in a right from Smith. Internationally,
some pressure on these guys internally to be successful.
Also seen Chiguk Park.
Theme park. It's big. It's blockbuster. It's action. Fun for kids and much more. Dive-in movies, DJ summer sessions, Showtime FMX, dinosaurs, and the world's most incredible inland sea. Get a season pass and slide all summer, or visit us just for the day. The best deals are at wetandwildsydney.com.au.
This is Judy Gregorius with the New York Yankees, and you're watching the Australian Baseball League.
Well, a tie ball game, 2-2 as we head to the 7th inning in Blacktown. We appreciate you sticking with us tonight. We have had a few internet issues at the ballpark, a few gremlins to work out. But our producer-director, Craig Abercrombie of Digital Sports, he's running around like a madman to ensure that we have uninterrupted baseball. These final, Doosan jumped out to a 2-0 lead in the 2nd before the ABL Stars plated a pair in the 3rd inning. That's really been it since. I don't know why the internet keeps...
Supply chain security, local expertise. The earlier we get involved, the more value we can add. Contact us or visit our website at boral.com.au.
This is Chris Bryant from the Chicago Cubs, and you're watching the Australian Baseball League.
Thanks, buddy. You got to feed and drink later.
So we thank Mark Marino, the CEO of the Sydney Blue Sox at Baseball New South Wales, spending some time with us in the broadcast booth. And we also thank you out there for bearing with us tonight. A few technical issues with our ABLTV.com broadcast, trying to get those amended as quickly as possible as we go to the last of the 7th inning. Still tied at 2. The ABL Stars looking to break through and potentially grab their first lead of the ball game. They'll have the top of the order due up here in the 7th. There's Trent Antonio, Darryl George, and Jacob Eunice, the 3 due-ups. Looks like Max Brennan will hit for Jacob Eunice. Antonio leading things off. He takes the first low and away off the plate for a ball. Hitting for the 3rd time tonight. He is struck out twice and also walked. He's 0 for 2, the lefty. Both runs for the ABL Stars coming in the 3rd inning. The 1-0 missing low, 2 balls, no strikes. And Mark made an interesting point about the potential for Asian teams and their utilize Australian facilities and the months of January, February, March. He's been fouled off toward the left side, out of play. And he also made the point that it would provide an opportunity for Team Australia. And he's 100% right. You think about the Olympics on the horizon in 2020. Team Australia going to play a friendly against Japan in Osaka and Nagoya in March. If you've got professional Asian teams spring training in Australia, that would provide ample opportunity for Team Australia to potentially get more games in of a high caliber against potentially teams CPBL-like or KBO, NPB. And there's many, many reasons why housing an Asian professional team in spring training makes a lot of sense for Australian teams. Like Mark was saying with us a couple of innings ago, the Blue Sox have really forged a nice partnership with the Dusanbe어rs. This is the 3rd season they've utilized Blacktown International Sports Park as their spring training facility. Payoff pitch coming to D'Antonio. Off the inside part of the plate, ball 4. Boy, the righty wanted the call, but he didn't get it. Antonio walks for the second time tonight, and he's aboard to lead things off here in the set first. Singleton scored in the 3rd inning. He's also struck out in this ball game. The first to George is fouled straight back, no balls and a strike. The potential for Australian teams to reap the benefits of some wealthier Asian clubs coming in during spring training and other times of the year. Facility upgrades. Mark was saying that, of course, they have a lot of needs, very buttoned up and polished organization. A lot of needs facility-wise. Australia can certainly turn on the weather this time of year, but facilities need upgrading. It's another place where partnerships like these can work. So the MLB opening series do that for facilities around Australia. The foul poles from the SCG at Holloway Field in Brisbane. The back netting that was at the SCG right here in Sydney. 0-2 to George, swung out and missed. He struck out for the 2nd time tonight. There's one gone here in the 7th. We mentioned that friendly that Team Australia and Japan will play on March 3rd and 4th in Osaka and Nagoya. Just announced a couple of days ago. You'll be able to catch those broadcasts here domestically in Australia on Fox Sports. 5:06 will be covering both of those ball games. Paul Gonzalez will join me in the call. Really looking forward to getting to watch Team Australia on their tour of Japan in March. Be a lot of fun. Rosters for those 2 games will be announced this week. I believe the 20th of February. So Tuesday will be the roster announcement day for Team Australia. The individuals that they will take to Japan. Here's Max Brennan hitting for the first time tonight. He came on to replace Jacob Eunice last inning at second base. It's another young man that plenty of playing time this season. May not have been expecting it. 1-0 missing high and inside. 2 balls, no strikes. Two-0 to Brennan. Back to the pitcher. It's dropped at the mound. They'll go to second for 1. The turn in time. And the inning is over. Boy, did that inning change complexion in a hurry. Phenomenal double play turned by this 두산베어스 infield. We go to the 8th inning. Still tied at 2 apiece.
Josh Reddick of the Houston Astros. and you're watching the Australian Baseball League.
To the top of the 8th inning we go. Blacktown International Sports Park. Andrew Reynolds, glad to have your company tonight on this ABLTV.com special presentation. The Dusanbears spring training exhibition against the ABL Stars, and it has been a good one. Out of it 2 apiece. You see Steve Kent coming on in relief of Luke Wilkins, who gave 2 very good innings for the ABL Stars. Kenty, the 3rd arm out of the bullpen, the 4th arm of the night for the ABL Stars. And the first time that we are seeing the lefty since his appearance in Game 2 of the ABL Championship Series last Saturday night. Or it was Game 3, I should say. It was the decider in which Steve Kent came on in relief of Frank Gailey. Faced 6 hitters and struck them all out. 4-2 final. But Stephen Kent was fantastic in relief. He was sort of the odd man out in that series last weekend with the starting rotation that Sydney had, or Canberra had, I should say, in terms of Brian Grenning, the Game 1 starter, Blake Bakar, Frank Gailey. There's just no room for Steve Kent in the starting rotation. He had to come on in relief and struck out the only 6 men that he faced in the ABL Championship Series. You'd have to think that a guy like Frank Gailey would be getting a phone call from Don McMichael in Canberra again next season. The way that he pitched, again, just made one mistake to Adam Weisenberger of Brisbane last weekend in the 2nd inning, that 3-run homer. It was essentially the difference in the ball game. Well, the Dusanbears starting to utilize some of their bench players now, as Jinho Jung is the man at the plate, the left-handed swingers. Hitting for Jimmy Paredes here in the 8th inning. This one swung on and missed, and Steve Kent gets a strikeout to begin things here in the 8th.
Right fielder, number 15, Hey-Sun Cook.
One out in the 8th. Hae-Sung Cook is the next, hitting for Jae-Hwan Kim, who hit that solo shot back in the 2nd inning that got the scoring started. Again, Tae-Young Kim, the manager, this Doosan club, really starting to empty his bench and some of these other players an opportunity late in this spring training affair. Boy, Kent still looks in midseason form, doesn't he? 0-2, just missing low. A lefty with a wry smile back into home plate, a ball and 2 strikes. The 1-2 swung out and missed. That's a pair of strikeouts for Steve Kent. Man, oh man, how good has he been? Live action in the last 7 days. He has struck out all 8 men that he's faced. Struck out the side.
Number 34, Do-Hyun Kim.
In the 7th and 8th innings. Game 3 of the ABLCS, and he has come in and struck out the first 2 that he's faced tonight. Two outs, nobody aboard. Dae-Yu Kim is the next man to oppose Steve Kent. And these all substitution players that are getting an opportunity for Doosan with 2 outs here in the 8th inning. Kim hitting for Koi-Ji Yang, who was the DH 0 for 3 tonight. This one is popped foul off and out of play toward the right. And the count is 1-2. Impressive. Mark Marino was saying to us earlier that this club brought 50 players over for spring training. A lot of these guys trying to vie for jobs in the KBO in this upcoming season. The 1-2, and Kit strikes out the side. Gets Kim to end the inning. Comes in, K's every man that he faces. We go to the last of the 8th inning. Good ball game tonight, tied at 2.
It has always been our mission to take you to new heights as you explore the world with EVA Air. Each flight is an exquisite performance. Each journey is beyond your expectation. Savor the difference. Let your senses soar. A symphony of perfection. EVA Air.
Up a lot of change in your accounts. Would you like to see the change?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go get it.
I'm here to thank you on behalf of the Serena Men's Shed. The community bank has given us upwards of $80,000, and we keep a lot of men out of hospital. Thank you for your support.
See the change your banking can make. Bendigo Bank. Be the change.
This is Anthony Rizzo with the Chicago Cubs, and you're watching the Australian Baseball League.
Well, we head to the last of the 8th inning in Sydney. Here at Blue Sox Stadium. The ABL Stars with potential to break through here in the 8th and close it out of the 9th inning for a win in this spring training exhibition. There you see 2 runs and 7 hits apiece for these 2 clubs tonight. Those 2 errors committed by Darryl George at shortstop. One of them was, yes, scored an error, but also was nearly one of the most spectacular plays you'll ever see by a shortstop. Be the middle of the order for the ABL Stars, 4, 5, and 6. Boss Motorola hitting for the 4th time tonight. He takes an off-speed pitch low for a ball. Motorola, Wade, and Dutton as it's scheduled. We've only seen 1 substitution player for Tony Harris and this ABL Stars team so far tonight. That's Max Brennan, who was supplanted at second base for Jacob Eunice last inning. Next to Motorola, catching the outer edge. Count even, a ball and a strike. Big swing from Boss on the 1-1. And he's now in the hole, a ball and 2 strikes. Just left his helmet at home, Boss. Wearing his Sydney Blue Sox helmet with his Canberra Cavalry get up. Looks like most of the players are. Motorola, of course, spent time here in Sydney. Was a member of the Blue Sox years ago before making the move to Canberra. This one missing off the plate. Count even 2. Played many games inside this ballpark, Boss Motorola. Of course, the World Baseball Classic qualifier when playing with New Zealand a few years ago. And 2-2, just off the plate. The count's full. Logan Wade awaiting on deck. Older brother Moko joined him on the roster in Canberra late in the season. Of course, the Cavalry losing a couple of key players. Moko DH'd several times in the stretch run for Canberra. Boss takes low, ball 4, and it's a leadoff walk. And the ABL Stars are in business, needing a run and 3 outs for a win in this spring training exhibition. With Motorola aboard at first, Logan Wade will stand in. Wonder if Tony Harris would think about a pinch runner here for Motorola, but it looks like Motorola will run for himself. And how does Tony Harris manage this? You can see him at the top of your screen having a chat with his coaching staff. Do you ask Logan Wade to lay down a bunt and put a man in scoring position with less than 2 outs for Wade Dutton? Doesn't look like Wade had any interest in bunting, and here's a double play ball to second. And there's 2 gone in the 8th inning. just what the doctor ordered for Dusan. They needed the ground ball, and they got it after the leadoff walk. This is tailor-made off the bat of Logan Wade. A couple of hops to second base. And Wade Dutton will hit now with 2 outs and nobody aboard. Wade's been aboard a pair of times tonight. Makes a good off-speed pitch for a strike. He was stranded at third a couple of innings ago, and the ABL Stars had the bases loaded this season, being the ABL season, and then into the playoffs and striking out the side against the Dusan Bears here in the 8th inning. It's been impressive to watch the lefty work the last couple of weeks. He goes back to work in the 9th. This one's swung on and missed. Count even, a ball and a strike. The announcement just being made at the ballpark that there will not be extra innings in this contest if we remain tied at 2 apiece after 9 innings. Of course, Dusan has already used 7 arms total. They wouldn't want to use any more than they'd have to. 2 run off speed that misses low and inside. And it's been fun to watch. 4 it's been fun to watch them work. I got to the 18. There's another reason that makes this facility. Some of those states, those clubs have been swung on and missed. That was really a ability of all. An attractive one to make their Kent. Called strike 3 in a red. We talked the hook performance at the end. Pretty impressive. And he'll go for strikeout number 6 with speed. Misses low. Well, he's just the 8. He's got a few of these hitters crossed up that he's off toward the right. It's the first real time we've seen anyone make contact. It's over to third base. Move to the shortstop. One more crack for the ABL Stars. Regimented schedule that Tony Harris had come up with for that pitching staff, and it worked out very, very well. Tim Atherton was good despite giving up a couple of runs early in the ball game, but Josh Tolles, Luke Wilkins, and Steve Kent. The road to the end of this ball game was a good one for the ABL Stars. And they will have one last crack at the Dusan Bears and an opportunity to potentially win a ball game in this exhibition contest. And Nick Anderson Vine will lead things off in the bottom of the 9th inning. Spot in the order that was occupied by Michael Campbell, but Anderson Vine, the youngster, getting an opportunity. The first to him is an off-speed pitch that misses low and away. New pitcher into the ball game as well for the Dusan Bears. Young Ha Lee has been called upon to close things out in what has been a fun night of baseball at the ballpark here in Blacktown. This one's in for a called strike, count even 1-1. One from Lee, bouncing in the dirt just off the plate. Anderson Vine played in 10 games in his inaugural ABL season. He's only 18 years of age. Won't turn 19 until July of 2018. Had a couple of base hits and 6 at-bats during the ABL season. Thrill of a lifetime for the youngster getting to face professional pitching. An outfit like the Dusan Bears. This is what this league is about. This is what this game is about. The youngster getting an opportunity against a professional club. The 3-1 takes inside Anderson Vine, and he draws a walk to begin things here in the 9th. How about that from the youngster? Comes off the bench cold, hitting for Michael Campbell, draws the walk.
Rickson Wingrove
puts himself aboard to lead off the 9th inning. Rickson Wingrove will be the next man to hit. Another of Tony Harris's young players, the young core that you'd think would be around in this Blue Sox team for years to come. Wingrove's only 17 years of age. He takes low in the initial offering from Lee. Giving these youngsters an opportunity to see professional pitching, to play against a professional club, and guys on multi-million-dollar contracts. These are even opportunities that a lot of kids in North America wouldn't necessarily get. The uniqueness of baseball here within Australia and the opportunities that lie ahead for the Australian Baseball League. There's a swing and a miss from Wingrove. Of course, New South Wales national youth teams have been so tough the last several years. Wingrove and Anderson Vine have certainly been a part of that the last couple of seasons. New South Wales under 16s winning it again this year in 2018. Long look from Lee. The 1-1 to Wingrove is hammered deep to right center field. Has he got enough? Off the top of the wall. On his way home is Campbell. Instead, they'll hold him there. But Rickson Wingrove was inches away from a walk-off home run into right center, and he can't wipe the smile off his face. What a moment for 17-year-old Rickson Wingrove. Nearly ended the ball game. And watch where this ball hits. Top of the wall. Tony Harris wisely held the runner at third base. No need to try and get the first out of the ninth inning at home plate. And now the lefty Alex Howe will have an opportunity to win it for the ABL Stars. What a moment for the young 17-year-old. He's still smiling. So the Bears have brought the infield in. Alex Howe has been aboard a pair of times tonight. He singled and scored back in the third inning. Has singled twice and has also struck out. First offering to him off the plate outside. Well, we've been deadlocked at 2 apiece since the ABL Stars scored a pair of times in the third inning. That might all be about to change here in the last of the ninth. Runners at second and third, nobody out. The next to Alex Howe missing off the plate outside. And the count 2 balls, no strikes. Tony Harris electing to pull 2 of his more veteran players for 2 youngsters here in the ninth inning, and it's paid off to this point. Runners at second and third, nobody out. And a 2-0 pitch coming to Alex Howe. Swung on and just tapped foul off toward the left side. 2-1. Good plate appearance from the 18-year-old Nick Anderson Vine, and then Rickson Wingrove. Millimeters away from ending the ball game. I don't know that I've ever seen a ball sit on top of the fence like that one did in right center. And now Alex Howe with a chance to be the hero. The 2-1 from Lee. Spoiled away foul again off toward the left side. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Brent Antonio waiting on deck. He's certainly known for having a bit of a flair for the dramatic. Winning the ABL All-Star game on a walk-off bunt a couple of seasons ago, and then scoring the game-winning run on Steph Welch's walk-off base hit. A 2-2 to Howe. He just stays alive again, fouling it off toward the left side. May have broken his bat. Looks like he's checking on it. It is okay. Sounded like he may have broken it on that spoiled pitch off toward the left side. Hanging tough against Lee. The 7th pitch of the at-bat coming. 2 balls and 2 strikes on the lefty. The Bears with the infield in. Anything on the ground, they'd be coming home. The 2-2 skied into left center field. This should do it. It's caught in left. Coming home is Anderson Vine, and the ABL Stars win it. Now the various colors of uniforms emerge from the home dugout and mob Alex Howe behind the mound. And the ABL Stars, a come-from-behind win it 3-2 on a sac fly from Alex Howe. And a fun way to end what was a phenomenal night of baseball here in Blacktown. 3-2 our final. You see the Dusanbears acknowledging those that came to the ballpark tonight. And the ABL Stars doing the same on the other side of the diamond. It was an exhibition, but it was a show of baseball. And anyone that was in the ballpark tonight, and viewers of ours on ABLTV.com, they got to witness a treat of a baseball game. And a fun way to round out the Australian Baseball League season. Well, don't forget, more broadcasts of baseball coming your way here within Australia. March 3rd and 4th on Fox Sports 506. Team Australia on their tour of Japan in Osaka and Nagoya, joining Paul Gonzalez and myself on Fox Sports. For what should be more fun baseball as Team Australia starts their road to Tokyo 2020. Well, that just about wraps things up from the ballpark tonight. Again, the ABL Stars, a come-from-behind walk-off win. They win it 3-2 over the Dusanbears. For Craig Abercrombie, our producer, director of digital sports, my name is Andrew Reynolds, saying thanks for your company tonight. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you in a couple of weeks when Australia plays Japan in Osaka.